We're going to continue our technical analysis of Target, Coca-Cola, and GM. Target is doing similar things to what the major indexes are doing. It's doing my favorite word, meandering, here in the middle. And there isn't a super strong indication of strength with this price movement in terms of volume. Now it's just kind of sticking here in the middle, and the volume action is low compared to the price action. Until we see more volume, we're not going to get an answer as to whether this is going to hit support or move towards resistance. It's possible that this is really just a continuation of this lower trend, and that this lower trend will eventually be touched upon, that we'll get this kind of action over time, a continued sideways motion that ends up hitting support of this much longer support. And if that's true, then this price action makes a lot of sense. If, on the other hand, a new channel is forming and eventually we're going to either hit this support line here or we're going to hit this resistance line here, then we'll have a new answer. So at this point, it's really hard to say whether this is a new channel or whether this price action is simply moving towards a much longer support line that hasn't been touched on in many months. We're going to find out. And I think this week is going to show us some of these answers. Now let's move over to Coke, which is KO. It's actually Coca-Cola Company. It appears that a new resistance is forming. Now we do have 3 or 4 good solid touches on this upper resistance here. So that tells me for now, the channel is this area here. We may revisit this other area. This is certainly an upside potential that may well come back into play. And as we see, the volume is holding fairly steady. It's actually at least average, but for now it does look like we're operating in this channel here. We have a lot of touches, so it seems to be confirming that it's a channel. If it continues up, I may start to tighten my stop loss to maybe 1% or 2%, because my goal is to get a 5% gain on these trades. It's not going to keep hitting this resistance. It's either going to breach through it and move up to this other resistance eventually, or it's going to start moving back down towards this new support line here. We're going to find out about that, I think, in the next few days. GM is doing a similar thing as well. It's meandering here in the middle. Almost seems like there's a new channel forming, but this is not an accurate channel. Maybe you could argue that the resistance up here is good because you have 3 solid touches, but down here, you really only have 1 or 2 touches, and they're just at the beginning. So if price action does hit here, I am likely to buy the bounce. I'm likely to put more money into this if I see 1 or 2 days of it bouncing off this support. And then it will be a support, because then we'll have enough touches for it to be a legitimate support. It's very possible it's just going to go right on through, and it may do what I'm wondering if some of these other stocks are doing, which is it's possible that this older support line really will just continue up through here, and it might move towards that. That would be a fairly major move, though. We're talking at this point, if it does go down to this, we're talking a 23% drop. So personally, I think that's unlikely, but still something to keep in mind. And again, if it hits this speculative support line, then I think it will actually be a real support, and I'm likely to buy. We'll see what happens. So stay tuned next week, and we'll give you the update.